So as a background to understanding biz dev, let's talk about some of the other growth channels that startups typically use. Number one, there's direct sales. Direct sales is very straightforward. It essentially means building out a sales team of people that directly are engaging with customers or users. This can be over the phone, via cold calls, it can be in person in one-on-one meetings. The key here is direct engagement. Marketing, just like direct sales, can take many forms. At its core, though, it basically means driving leads or traffic to a website or a place where you're eventually aggregating people that you eventually want to convert into customers or users. So this often takes the shape of a sign-up form on a website, a page where there is a phone number to call. Essentially, you're driving people to a place where you're eventually going to try to channel these people and convert them into a customer or user. And then there's biz dev. What does biz dev actually mean? Because I know when I first started out in startups, a lot of people out there were saying, I do business development, but I really had no idea what that meant. And even when I started doing it, I wasn't necessarily sure how to describe it at a high level to my friends and family. Well, here's a definition that I really like and I think really gets to the core of it. Business development is developing partnerships and relationships that allow your company to reach new customers and markets. It can also mean developing partnerships and relationships that provide value to existing customers or even enable you to extract more value out of them for your business. Why is this an attractive channel? Well, for one, it's very scalable at times. Think about it. You could hire 50 salespeople, or you could create a relationship where a company that already has 50 salespeople sell your product. Which one takes more energy and resources? BizDev isn't all just about selling things or generating revenue directly. It can also mean creating partnerships that allow you to essentially enhance existing functionality or create new functionalities that attract and benefit existing users. Think about it. If there's a feature that I know that my entire customer base, audience, user base would love, I could spend all the resources building it, or I might be able to integrate with a company that's already built it and provide that feature at a much easier, faster rate with a company that already does it well. It's pretty scalable. Another reason that BD is attractive is your company can achieve enhanced credibility and really improve how your brand looks just by the association with established companies. If there's a company in the market that all of my customers trust, feel good about, all my potential customers feel that way about, associating my company with that company is going to make my existing customers feel better about our relationship, could optimize the conversion rate for potential customers because they trust that other brand that's associated with mine. So let's talk about three common types of biz dev relationships. The type of biz dev relationships that I see most frequently are ones that enhance the product, provide distribution, or enhance the brand equity of a startup. Let's go through these. Product biz dev deals. Again, these are relationships that enhance an end product. And by enhancing an end product, they provide value to existing users or potential ones. Let's dig into an example here in order to show you a little bit more what that looks like. The one that comes to mind immediately for me is Single Platform and TripAdvisor. Single Platform is a company that I previously worked for. So before Single Platform, TripAdvisor on a lot of their pages they had restaurant pages for the top places that you could go to find places to eat at particular destinations. And they had the name, address, and phone number, the address, maybe even some photos. But one thing that they didn't have ubiquitously, and for many of these restaurants, if any, was the menu. So it was impossible for me as a TripAdvisor user or somebody that maybe even arrived there on the first time to see what these restaurants actually sold. This data set was something that single platform acquired through providing a product that allowed restaurants and other types of businesses to distribute this data. And through an API relationship with TripAdvisor, we allowed them to display this data that their existing and potential users wanted directly within the framework of their site. And you see the arrow there pointing to the menu button where that API relationship exists. When somebody clicks menu, they get a pop-up iframe that shows them exactly all the dishes that this particular restaurant serves. And you'll even see the attribution image of single platform's data on that menu. This is an example of a product biz dev deal that is essentially connecting two companies to enhance the end experience of a product. And for single platform on the product side, having the data distributed in another place where a restaurant's potential customers are searching for dining options makes our product better as well. So it's a win-win relationship for both parties. Let's talk about distribution biz dev deals. Distribution biz dev deals is basically what it sounds like. It provides distribution for your product or service. So by leveraging somebody else's audience, customer base, user base, whatever it is, you're essentially getting distribution that you would have not received. And this can also manifest itself in providing additional value for your users. This concept is a little bit easier to explain through specific examples, so let's go ahead and do that right now. One example that comes to mind is AboutWe and New York Mag. If you're not familiar with AboutWe, it's essentially a dating site where people can suggest different activities to do, and it connects people. So AboutWe can, before doing biz dev deals, maybe they were trying to drive people to their website via marketing, via social media, whatever it is. But through the biz dev channel, they can essentially receive distribution on places where their target audience is already hanging out and get customers that way. So this particular deal was between AboutWe and New York Magazine. On the front page and on every page of New York Magazine, you'll see a little area here that says dates. Now, I don't know if this even existed before this biz dev relationship. But when you click that button now, you're taken to this page, which is a co-branded AboutWe page that essentially is driving New York Magazine readers to sign up for AboutWe. And essentially, this is providing access to an audience that they might not have reached before. Just to demonstrate the power of these type of biz dev relationships, AboutWe published a pretty cool statistic on their blog. Over the past 2 years, the 40 different partnerships, whether it be with New York Mag or other types of content destinations, now account for over 25% of new user acquisition. That's huge, considering the lifetime value of a customer of a dating site could be hundreds of dollars. The fact that these relationships are now driving 25% of a user base, which I'm sure is in the tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands or even millions, is pretty amazing. If you want to read more about that, you can check out the article on the AboutWe blog. Let's talk about brand enhancement biz dev deals. BD deals that enhance a brand do exactly what they sound like. They connect two companies, and both companies stand to benefit from the positive brand association. And again, these help you reach new customers, convert customers at a higher rate, reach new markets. A lot of positive things can come out of these. A great example is TechCrunch and Udemy. There's a site called CrunchU, or a portion of the site on TechCrunch called CrunchU. And if you're not familiar with TechCrunch, it's one of the most popular tech content destinations that report stories and news and all this stuff about startups. And Udemy is an online course platform. So it's if you want to learn about entrepreneurship, if you want to learn about how to build products, if you want to learn about coding, it's essentially a place where anybody can publish courses on those different disciplines. And what CrunchU is basically a portion of courses from Udemy that have been co-branded on this TechCrunch site that are basically recommended by TechCrunch. Now, if I never heard of Udemy before, but I was an avid TechCrunch reader and I came to this site, all of a sudden I am going to have a lot more trust for this Udemy thing given the fact that they're working with TechCrunch. It must be good. Otherwise, TechCrunch, the brand that I love and have been reading for a long time, wouldn't partner up with these guys. And so Udemy is getting a huge win here by not only potentially getting access to new customers, but when they reach those new customers, optimizing conversion just because of the trust that's already been built given the piggybacking on top of the TechCrunch brand. Now, TechCrunch is constantly looking to deliver excellent content to their users and generate additional income streams. And by associating themselves with a amazing source of educational content like Udemy, they're driving a ton of value to their users and also, maybe even monetizing this. I'm not sure. But this is just a total win-win relationship for both sides that's making both of these brands look even better in the eyes of their existing customers as well as prospective customers or users. Another type of biz dev deal that I wanted to highlight that kind of fits the framework of distribution is channel partnerships. And this can also fit within the brand umbrella as well. Channel partnerships are basically when two companies with similar customer or user profiles form a relationship where one company explicitly introduces the other product or service to their audience, user base, customer base, whatever it is. And these can often look like remarketing deals or reselling deals where there is a revenue split at the end if there's a transaction. A great example of this is single platform and Bloomnet. Single platform, again, what the company allows local businesses to do is distribute their most critical business information everywhere that people are looking for their business online. So, name, address, phone number, their menu of products and services, photos, all the stuff that people are looking for online. Bloomnet is the largest wire service provider and digital partner for 8,000 plus florists across the country. And they provide a lot of amazing services for the businesses that they work with. But one of the things that they would have loved to provide before this relationship was the ability for all these businesses to easily get found online. What the single platform and Bloomnet relationship looked like was basically Bloomnet introduced our product to their 8,000 plus customers and resold it, remarketed it, and allowed us to reach an entirely new audience of people that would derive a ton of value from our product. And Bloomnet, as part of this deal, for every single sale that we made, got to take some of the revenue. And this is just a great example of two companies realizing that there's a chance to provide mutual value on both sides and striking up a channel partnership where one company introduces the other's product to their existing customers to provide value in a way that drives revenue for their company. For these deals to occur, something very important has to be in place. And that's the mutual value exchange on both sides of the equation. If one company is getting all of the value and the other isn't, it's just not going to be fruitful for the customers, for the people doing the deal, for the company's relationships moving forward. You have to make sure that there's a mutual value exchange. And honestly, in a lot of cases, if there's not, a deal will never ever get done if the people that are working on the deal are smart. So again, in this case, the value is clear. Single platform was getting to reach a new audience they previously wouldn't have access to, and Bloomnet was getting to introduce a product that drove a ton of value to their existing users while monetizing the relationship. Both sides win. Let's talk a little bit about the difference between sales and biz dev because they often get commingled and it's important to really understand how they're different. First difference is that I personally think biz dev is a little bit more strategic and a little bit more scalable. Again, sales is often you are selling a product directly to a consumer. So here's this thing, here's what it costs, and I want you to trade me money for this. Biz dev, on the other hand, is often manifested in somebody else in creating a relationship where somebody else is selling directly or something that happens to the product is going to help result in more sales. And this is why I often say that goals of biz dev are often higher in the funnel. So instead of me worrying about directly driving sales, I'm going to create a relationship with another company that maybe enhances our product, gives us distribution, whatever it is, that is eventually going to result in more sales. The last thing that I want to bring up, and this is very important at the micro level, like what you'd actually be doing as a business developer, is sales is a very productized offering. So here's this thing I'm selling. It's not really going to change that much. Can I convince you to give me something for it? What I like about business development is you're often having to be extremely creative about the offering or relationship that you're positioning a potential company. And these are things, this is a process that requires understanding what somebody's particular needs are, how you might be able to service them with your available resources. It's often less productized. And that's not to say that all sales are productized or that there is biz dev relationships that are not productized. A lot of biz dev is actually about scaling a productized relationship, which is something that we'll discuss more in depth later in BD Playbook.